Hello, welcome back to the Milsurp Duo. We're going to pick up from our Webley 38-200/38 Smith & Wesson loads. What we did, we loaded 3 particular rounds. Or actually, we reloaded 2, but we started off with a factory-loaded box of MagTech ammo. And we took one of those apart and we kind of dumped it out, and the bullet was slightly undersized.
Yeah, it was, I think, 2/10, 3/10 undersized.
Yeah, it was like, I think we got 355,000
compared
so
to 358.
It's a little undersized. The bullets we had, we did not have a true .361 bullet mold to cast the true mold. And we also placed an order for some molds.
Yeah,
how'd that turn out?
Yeah, I ordered some bullets from a company. Not going to name that company, but it took, I hadn't heard from them for 4.5 months, and
yeah.
I had to go through the whole process of trying to get my money back, and that's why this video's taken so long from the get-go. But I have some new stuff on order. I'm also ordering, so I got some 190 grainers coming, but as well as a 145 grain to a 361, so we can try to see if we can work out some different loads.
So there will be a part 3, so stand by. But we have found out some pretty good results. The 2 loads we did ourselves, we did one load using the 158 grain 38 special bullet, and that's a 358 diameter. We did one with HP 38 and one with true blue powder, and we will cover the range session on those two, show you what we got from there. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of the Webley Mark IV?
So this is actually a derivative of the 455 Mark VI Webley, which is its bigger brother.
And what caliber was that in?
455, which is about a 45 caliber bullet. I think it's 455 diameter to be exact. So this is a little bit smaller version in the 38-200, like you said, 6-shot. It's actually a brake top, so you just push the lever here on the side, break the top, rounds will eject out. We'll have a slow motion on that here later. And then, load your 6 rounds in, close her up. It is both single action and double action, so of course, single action is like a single action, and you can still do that double action. But other than that,
so true SADA.
Correct. Yep, true SADA. Very smooth shooting gun. Other than that, it was produced from 1932. It was actually more in service. It was started produced in 1932. Saw service all the way up into the mid-70s in different areas.
Is Webley the actual manufacturer, or is that the full name, or were there any other manufacturers?
So Webley is the manufacturer of this one, was the main manufacturer. So there's some interesting things out there. So Infield actually copied it. They made their own version. And you see that, I think those are the 2As, I believe is the model on that one. And they don't have a full hammer. They have a bobbed hammer. So it's double action only on those. Grip's a little bit different, but other than that, it's still same cartridge, same barrel length. Those are pretty cool. I'd love to pick one up as well.
And I have, so I'm going to call it a tanker model. I don't know if that's the actual, but bullnose, or it's like a really short
I've seen those as well. I haven't had a chance to do any research on them to see legitimacy of them, if it was basically the same gun that an Arsenal Armor did, just cut it down. I'm not 100% sure.
About what years was that adopted, and how long did it serve?
Yeah, as I said, started production in 1932. Saw service all the way through the mid-70s. Wow. All across the world.
And about how many of them were made?
I believe about 500,000 is the numbers I've been finding. Fair amount. Other than that, good gun.
Okay.
So
we'll be back. We'll probably have some up-close video for you to see the operation.
Here I am shooting my Webley Mark IV with factory MagTech ammo. I am shooting at a B16 target at about 10 yards through my Pro Chrono DLX chronograph. Shot 10 shots, and as you'll see, I start to run into some issues.
565. 556. 546.
As you can see, I wasn't having any issues with the first 6 shots. But after the reload, I was running into issues cocking the gun to fire.
530.
As you can see here, Nick is shooting the MagTech factory loads. The factory loads we shot were 146 grain lead bullet with a diameter of about 355. We shot a 10 shot group with a minimum of 530 feet per second, a maximum of 606. We had a spread of about 76 foot-pounds, with the average being 556 foot-pounds, and the standard deviation was 21. Our average of 556 was a little less than what the Wikipedia says the standard load of 158 was. That's comparable. And they said it was 770 feet per second. So we were a little less than that, but we blamed that on the extremely smaller bullet than the factory .361.
447.
These are the first 6 shots of my HP 38 Smith & Wesson loads. I was still running some issues with the grittiness in the action,
484.
but if you stay tuned, in the next clip you'll see where we run into some major issues of the gun completely locking up.
525. 480.
So I'm able to get one round off of HP 38 before it starts to jam. So I try to open the action to see what could be causing this issue while firing at the same time. Starting to get a little hot-headed. Other than that, I decided to pull the first round out to see what's going on. Other than that, I try to see if the gun works, but I'm running into issues here where the gun's completely seizing up.
Right. Yeah, I'm getting worried about safety here a little bit because you were having your finger on the trigger, and I didn't realize you'd unloaded.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did is I completely unloaded that gun, trying to blow whatever powder might be down in the action out. But as you can see, it's seizing up completely.
Well, it goes double action.
Let me see it, please.
But you can see it's able to run every so often. I'll be able to rack that hammer back. But as you see, you're trying it here.
Yeah, I had to take a look at it to see what was going on here. But you're right. It was locked up tighter in the drum, and there was something in there that had it all jammed up.
Yeah, it could have been a full-size kernel powder. Who knows? It was we just kept working at it. And we kept trying to blow in there, try to work everything free, and
yeah.
I think go double action. I will.
Yeah, because this gun's never done this before. You know, we've shot, I'm going to say, probably a couple hundred rounds through here, a factory-loaded ammo, because this is the first reloads we've done for it, and we started to see this problem.
Yeah, it's mainly been just these reloads, other than that factory ammo, and you'll see I'm able to run it in double action here and get the final couple shots off.
477. 434.
Yeah, these are the results from our HP 38. We were aiming for a 10-shot group, but only got 8 recorded, and we really don't know why. Of the 8 shots, we had a minimum of 434, a maximum of 525, a spread of 91, an average of 472, and a standard deviation of 29. This load seemed to give us the most jamming issues of all 3 loads, and we'll cover that in the wrap-up. Won't cry on me.
And in this frame, we're shooting true blue powder in a 2-point grain load. As you can see, the first couple shots, I am not having any issues. But after 3 or 4 shots, I start to run into some jamming, both in single action and double action.
Yeah, you can tell you're having fighting a little bit. What did it feel like? What were you experiencing?
And it was just, I was getting a lot of crunching, as well as just, I'd find a wall and just stop.
Okay.
So as you can see, I just unloaded, and we're discussing here, trying to figure out what's going on. I can also see some powder on the cylinder face and down the barrel, so that we were getting quite a bit of a unburned powder.
So you were actually, when you opened it up, you could see granules fall out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So, and we believe that is due to the undersized bullet we were shooting. But as you can see here, I'm having to be very forceful pulling that hammer back in single action. Other than that, once I was being forceful, it was running.
527. 526. 507.
What powder was that?
True Blue.
500.
That's that round shot True Blue.
That's not a bad load.
No, it's not.
We have to compare what it's supposed to be. All
right.
Yeah, this is our True Blue load that we did here. And we ended up getting, and this was the last string of the day, so things are starting to come to a head here. We did get off a 10-set string of recorded shots, with the minimum being 425, our maximum being 551, our spread of 126, the average being 507, and the standard deviation of about 40. We kept filming through all the issues. There again, we were still seeing quite a bit of the unburnt powder when we'd kick out the shells, and that was causing a lot of the jamming problems we were seeing. And the reason I know, if you noticed at the end of the video, I comment what powder that was, because these were getting a slightly higher velocities than the HP 38, but not as high as the factory load. So we'll cover a little more detail in our wrap-up. You've seen all three of our loads, and we've kind of compiled a chart here. Just a little bit of background here. The 38-200, which was essentially the same as the 38 Smith & Wesson, except the 38-200 used a 200 grain bullet.
Correct.
And the web says the feet per second on that round should be about 620. The 38 Smith & Wesson with a 150 grain bullet, the web says should have a velocity of about 770. All of our loads that we tested were nowhere near close to that. Our factory loads, which were a MagTech, we had a minimum of 530 feet per second, a maximum of 606, a spread of 76, an average of 556, with a quoted average by MagTech being 686 and an SD of 1. So you see our 556 was nowhere close to the quoted factory's pressure that it was supposed to get. Nick, you want to talk about the HP 38?
Yeah, with the HP 38, according to the book, which we are getting all our information from the Lyman Cast Bullet Handbook, which we'll show a picture here in the screen. We were getting a minimum about 434, maximum about 525, spread of about 91, average about 472. But as the book, we found the book, that we quoted average of 632, which is... We were quite a bit lower with the standard deviation about 29. So yeah, that one's pretty interesting, which we'll explain here later on why we think that was a lot lower.
Right. And the True Blue, we had a minimum of 425, a maximum of 551, a spread of 126, which is kind of a wide spread, an average of 507, and there again, the quoted average should be 636. There again, we're well over 130 off. I mean,
but I believe that's the powder that once we do get the new projectiles that I was talking about earlier, I believe that will be the powder that will get us to where we want to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and we noticed, and this is the order in which we shot the gun. We shot it with the factory loads, then went to an HP 38 load, then we did the True Blue load. The further we shot, or Nick shot the gun, the dirtier their action got, and we've seen more and more jamming.
Yeah, you can see after some of the HP 38 loads here in the videos that we were seeing, I couldn't even function the gun. It was seized up from the get-go, which I think equates to powder getting down in the action and just jamming it up, gumming it up. And
I mean, even when you handed me the gun, because there again, you did all the shooting, I could just feel the grittiness of the extra powder down in that action.
But, other than that, accuracy-wise, we were hitting pretty good, I believe, and we'll post a picture in, and everything was center mass. You had a couple fall down low right, but other than that, everything was hitting pretty good. Well, that's even though 10 yards, but for this, how old the gun is, I'm pretty impressed.
Our whole tester really wasn't about accuracy. No. It was more about trying to get a load you can plink with, and then from that point, you could work on the accuracy. But there again, at 10 yards, what, 90% of them were in the black.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, what we think is going on here, when you Google or you do any research on unburnt powder, it basically comes down to two things. It's either a pressure issue, that's where the bullet diameter is undersized and you got a lot of gas escaping around the bullet, not getting full velocity. And the other thing it could be is the basically
the powder itself.
The powder itself. It's either too fast, too slow.
Yep.
Which means the bullet is leaving the barrel before you get complete burn.
Yeah. I believe, and I know you agree with me on this, we believe it's the actual diameter of the bullet. It's majority of that is the issue, I believe, but it could potentially be the powders, but I really don't see it being the powders.
Yeah.
From the research I've done, and of course what the Lyman book says that the True Blue is the best powder they got their accuracy out of. I believe it is to be the bullet that it is undersized.
Right. And I think when you get these new bullets in and we do our part 3, I think that will prove our hypotheses.
Yep, like I was kind of saying in the intro, 2 more projectiles are on the way. One company is sending me some 190 grainers that are 361 that are close to original. I also have some 140 grain. They're both lead cast. One is a high-tech coated, so we're going to kind of try that coated bullet, but in that 361 diameter, and see how well. It's going to be a little bit lower than what we shot here, grain-wise, bullet weight-wise, but I think I'm interested to see how that does, though.
Yeah. All right. So stick with us. We'll show some images here, and we'll be a part 3 upcoming. Thank you now.